Hey, well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Table Ready Podcast. We are going to be doing a couple of things. And again, we're going to follow up with the first thing we're going to get into is to follow up with the Combat Patrol 2 Crusades. I have two separate armies that we're going to try and get through real quick. And then when you get to the end, we're actually going to do that giveaway. I do have the prizes all picked out and my notes here. And they were just picked like 5 minutes ago. So we'll get those all picked out and ready to go. But what we're going to do, let me explain my process. I took the 23 combat patrols that are in that are available from Games Workshop. There's 23 armies, 23 to pick from. The downfall from that is there's only one demon army, and it's the Khorne army, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Uh, and what I wanted to do was do this little part where if you're going to buy the Combat Patrol, which is such a great way to start playing Warhammer, grab that Combat Patrol and then really get into playing. The next step would be the 1,000 point mark, which would also is also the level where you would start playing Crusades. So I thought it would be a fun thought experiment, a new way to go about just jumping into, what to do after the combat patrol. And I've taken a lot of ideas into account, as far as, how many models you need to buy, how much is it's going to cost, how many units you're going to have to buy, the whole 9 yards. So, and I also wanted it to be an effective army, and I also wanted it to be playable in Crusades. So, if you don't know, you can play anything you want in Crusades, but anything that's considered an epic hero does not get to gain experience, does not get battle scars, does not get any of the cool enhancements that you can pick up. Essentially what happens is they've already had their story, so they're not learning anything new from what they're doing with your team. So what I did want to start out with was, um, I went through and I wrote them all down, and I had the scientific way of choosing different factions. And the way that actually won was, um, I had two people in the room pick numbers between 1 and 23. So by pure happenstance, the two that we picked were, uh, World Eaters, which we're going to do second, and then Chaos Demons, which I wanted to tackle first. And the reason I really wanted to do Chaos Demons first was there's a lot of choices there. You do start out with, the Chaos, the Combat Patrol is a Bloodmaster, so it's all Khorne themed. So the Bloodmaster, you do get two squads of 10 Bloodletters, you get 10 Fleshhounds, and then you get 3 Blood Crushers. So I did a lot of thinking because I do enjoy playing. I like demons. I actually have seen some siege demons. I think the horrors are fun to play with, especially because they break down and then break down again, and they are pretty much the only range shooting squad. So I really wanted to kind of fit them in there. But when I went through the whole process, the problem I ended up with was they're expensive, because for every box of pink horrors you got to buy, you should buy a box of blue horrors. That's extra miniatures you need to paint. That's extra time put into it. So what I really wanted to do, I actually jumped back and I thought, what would fit the Khorne demons better than having the ranged background troops? And I, to be honest and to be fair, the Combat Patrol is like 525 points, I figured. Yeah, 525 points. And so you could easily just buy a second combat patrol and you have a full Khorne army for demons. You would have to drop 25 points, but that's easy. You could drop the second set of flesh hounds down to 5. That's enough to drop the points. Or um, you could drop out the other Bloodmaster. I would drop the 5 of the Khorne hounds, the flesh hounds out, and that would easily get you right at that point where you'd be just under 1,000 points. But realistically, that's not a lot of fun. You're really just putting a lot of bloodletters on the table. Excuse me. That's um, that's 40 bloodletters, and 15 flesh hounds, 6 blood crushers, and then 2 of the bloodletter champions. I didn't think that was that much fun. So what I did, I figured the best fit for Khorne demons would be Nurgle demons. So, and again, there's one more thing that I think that would be kind of crazy to put in here. You could easily put a Chaos Knight in there, one model, done. Again, that's one of those things where at 1,000 points, a knight's a lot to deal with. So if you really wanted to paint up a Chaos Knight, throw it in there, get that painted, you could easily run a Khorne demon Chaos Knight. The only problem is, of course, is that's a better setup for farther down the line because you can't. It's too many points for an ally. But it would be a lot of fun to play. But anyway, I went with the Nurgle demons, and what I did to throw in there. Well, the first thing that I did was I threw a Skullmaster to go in with your Juggernauts because they might as well have somebody to lead them. Next thing, I figured a Poxbringer, and I was kind of disappointed that they don't have the Nurgle Demon box set anymore. I don't really realize when that one went away. I was hoping you could just pick that one up and then just kind of add it in there. But the Proxbringer would be your champion for the Nurgle side. And then really what I did was just put 10 Plague Bearers, just more troops so that you can swing swords around. 2 3-man, 3 stand, 3 swarm Nurgle squads. And again, those are just to be an annoyance, kind of get in the way, do what they need to do. Not really super effective, but just enough to like just really get in the way and be annoying. And then, of course, the last one, just because I think the models are really cool and they really kind of fit, they would really fit the theme of just kind of moving that surge forward and move and chopping people up, is 3 of the plague drones. I think they're fantastic models. And I think that that in itself, when I figured it out, it's 990 points. So you're right under the 1,000 point mark. It really kind of fits you out. So if you want a whole list uh, for what that is, that's 3 characters. That's a Bloodmaster, a Poxbringer, and a Skullmaster. That's the one on the Juggernaut. That's 2 squads of 10-man bloodletters. That's 3 or 2 3-man 3 swarm squads of nurglings, and then 10 plague bearers. And then you'd have the 3 blood crushers, the 3 plague drones, and the 10 flesh hounds. And to me, at 1,000 points, it's a lot of miniatures out there. That's a lot to really deal with if you're not playing, if you're playing against that. I mean, that's really, let's see, 40, 46, 52, 55 models at 1,000 points. It's pretty killer. Um, Again, I'm not a big demon player, and I especially not the Khorne ones. Um, but I have some thousand or Siege demons that go with my thousand sons. Um, but all in all, I mean, I think this would be a fantastic group. Uh, I do really think that if it wasn't for the cost aspect, that I would love to see the Zinjian demons in here. Like I said, just that little bit of range with the horrors, the flamers put in there, and then the screamers to back them up. I think that would be maybe even a burning chariot if you could find the space for it. I think that would be an amazing. But this works really good for what it does. You would have those plague bearers to kind of keep an objective. You got Nurgling to just be a nuisance, and then you got Bloodletters to run up and kill stuff, and of course Blood Crushers and Plague Drones to kill stuff too. So yeah, so that's the first one that I wanted to do. I thought it was a really good army. I think it worked out amazing. I kind of want to put it on the table, um, but I that's something for the next time. Um, I don't know that I'm ready to make another army at this point, but I think that would work pretty good. Um, so next off, um, the next one that I decided to do, or I should say I randomly drew because I didn't decide this, um, was the World Eaters. Now, of course, I know that's a Khorne theme tonight and Blood for the Blood God, so don't get too excited. Calm down, relax. No skulls for the throne tonight. But we are gonna just um, go through some of this. So what I picked for World Eaters, of course, the first the first thing is the combat patrol, and what you get in the combat patrol is you get the World Eaters Lord on the Juggernaut. Good solid choice. You get 10 jackals, 2 squads of 10-man berserkers. So right there, they have probably one of the most solid combat patrols. I think it was 535 points when I pointed it all out. So very comparable to the Khorne demons, and I think they're all just over 500 points, every one of them. What I decided to add into that, no allies of any sort. What I did is I took a Master of Executions, and I would put them with one of the squads of Khorne Berserkers. Or the other thing that I wanted to add was the 8-bound, and I'm not 100% sure if he can go with that. I'd have to look that up. But my intentions would be to get that Master of Executions with one of the Khorne Berserker squads. I think that it would really help them out. They would get them, the fight first ability, plus, he Master of Execution himself is kind of a terror in close combat. Now, of course, this one you don't quite get as many models in, but these are definitely more heavily armored. Um, there are 3 8-bound in there, and what I would do is use them just for the scout role, that kind of get them out front and ready to fight. They're kind of mean in close combat, not incredibly mean, but mean enough. I mean, the regular 8-bound has the Eviscerators, which is 6 attacks, strength 5, -2, 2 damage. And then that champion, he's got those Lacerators, and not quite as many attacks, but that strength 9, -2 with the 3 damage is certainly that sweet spot. They, of course, all have an invulnerable save, and yeah, so they're good, solid choice. I was considering going with the Exalted. There are a few more points, and I didn't think it would quite work out. But I really like the way this one kind of turned out. And of course, the next thing that I did add with that is I added 1 Rhino in there. And the point of that would be put somebody in a rhino, get them to charge forward in the rhino and be protected, get them on one of them those forward objectives, and really get them to punch into the enemy. The last thing that I added in there, just because it's one of my preferential models for those chaos armies, is that Mauler Fiend. Again, he's kind of a terror in close combat. He, especially at 1,000 points, he'll do a lot of damage. With those Mauler fists, 6 attacks at strength 14, the lasher tendrils, 6 more attacks at strength 7. It's just a lot of attacks. And of course, I'd always go with the lasher tendrils over the melta cutters, magna cutters. Sorry, because those close combat attacks is what you're really going for, anyways. If this thing's not in close combat and really running in front, it's just not doing it right. And you always got to remember, excuse me, um, all of them get that relentless rage ability, which is if you charge, you get +1 to strength and attacks characteristics of melee weapons. So you definitely want these guys charging into close combat as soon as they can. Um, so yeah, so that's the full list for them. Again, that's you're talking a World Eater's Lord on Juggernaut. That's the one that comes with the Combat Patrol. The Master of Execution, he's just going to be a beat stick to go with one of the Khorne Berserker squads. You can even put him in the Rhino. I think the Rhinos hold 11, right? Let me double check while I got it up here. Transport. Yeah, they can hold 12 models. I thought so, just tripping myself out here a little bit. So yeah, so you could put those Khorne Berserkers and the Master Execution in the Rhino and rush them forward. And I mean, that's a lot of attacks. Master of Execution, he brings 5 attacks, strength 7, with devastating wounds and precision. That's incredible. He does have he can lead Khorne Berserkers, so he can't lead the 8-bound. He does have that fights first ability for all the models in the unit. So just in case somebody tries to steal the charge from you, you still fight first. And then of course, um, he also has the Murderer's Swing, which you can re-roll hit rolls, and you can re-roll wound rolls if he's targeting a character. So he's fantastic for a set of those Khorne Berserkers. You have Jackals there to kind of soak up an objective and stand there and shoot with their auto pistols and such. 8-bound, you're going to try and get in close combat with. I mean, this is just a stomp on your enemy until they're gone, and then you can go capture all the objectives. And that's just kind of the way I phased it. So there's no backline support in this. It is kind of one trick. That's about the one downfall on it. But I would have fun playing this. Win or lose, I would have fun playing this. So that's it. If again you want the whole list, I don't know if I got through the whole thing. The World Eater's Lord on the Juggernaut, the Master of Executions, Jackals, 2 10-man Khorne Berserker squads, 1 squad of 3 8-bound, the Mauler Fiend with the Lasher Tendrils, and the World Leader Rhino. And that's it. It's not a lot of models. It's what, almost just more than half of the other one. So, but these guys all have a serious pack a serious punch. So, that's what we got for that. So, um, I just did want to let you guys know that I did pick up the Eldar Codex as of recently. Um, so I got that picked up. I'm going to be working on that and working on my Eldar army. Eldar, of course, was my original army, and I'm really excited about what they did in the Codex. I think we might actually do like a review of it, more of a flavor review, and I definitely want to go through the Crusades with you guys and see what, you know, what we can go through and and how different the Crusades is. I haven't read it yet. I just haven't had the time to sit with it. But we're gonna get through that. We're gonna get that crusade going, and go through those rules. I think that might be maybe next episode. So, um, but of course, I know the real reason everybody's here. Who won? Who won the competition? The giveaway from last episode. Um, and again, I use the scientific method, so don't shoot the messenger. And I'm just going to use first names here. So if you do listen, um, third place, and I'm just going to remind you here, third place is, lost it on my sheet. So that's going to be just an hour long video chat with me. We can talk about whatever you want, advice on playing, painting, just chatting. Um, and so Logan won that. So I'm gonna have to get with Logan and see when he wants to do our hour-long video chat. If it is something that, you know, we can salvage and put on to as like an extra episode, I might just do that. If not, um, you know, I'll let you know how it kind of winds down. Um, Second place is a guest spot on my podcast where we can talk about anything Warhammer related that you want. So the winner of that is actually Ken, and I'll be reaching out to him a little bit later, and we'll set a episode for that. And you know, Ken can talk to me about some Warhammer stuff, or actually, I can tell him about some Warhammer stuff. He can ask me some questions, and maybe we'll do that one of these episodes coming up, whenever I can schedule with him. And again, if we get a drum roll, I don't really have a drum roll, so grand prize, the grand prize, of course, you get to set what we talk about that week for the podcast. And whatever you want me to do while we do it. So I could crack dad jokes or put up with weird stuff or you know, wear a clown nose or whatever the case may be. My wife had said that maybe I'd wear a big bow and we'd talk about crochets, and we actually had enough people that she didn't win. So that's a positive part. So, but the winner is Richard. So I'm going to have to get with Richard and we're going to talk about exactly whatever he wants to talk about on the episode. We'll schedule that out, so it might not be on Twitch, but it will be on something. It will be on here, and we will talk about whatever Richard wants to talk about, and I will definitely keep it PG as to whatever he wants me to do, but we can definitely have fun with it. I think it'll be a fun episode, and we'll really have a good time with it. So that's it. Of course, this isn't going to hit YouTube or podcast till Tuesday. So if you heard it now, or if you hear it the next day or two on Twitch, keep it secret, keep it safe, and we'll let these guys know on Tuesday, uh, you know, whether they won or, you know, they won, and I can schedule that out. And like I said, for you guys, this is all bonus content, so um, it'll be a nice spin on whatever we do. And that's about it. That's all I got for tonight. So, look, as always, I want to thank everybody for watching. Uh, you can always catch us on Facebook or Instagram. I'm also on TikTok under Table Ready, for as long as TikTok's around or not around, or who the heck knows what's going on with them. Um, Also, YouTube. YouTube at Table Ready Painting. Please come subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. Let me know if something you see here is what you want to see. Let me know if there's a topic that you want me to cover, and I would gladly cover it. I have tons of ideas, and I really just kind of go through what I go through. So if you got something you're like, oh, I really want to hear about this, let me know. That's the best way to get a hold of me, either there or Facebook or Instagram. And of course, every other week we do something on Twitch, whether it's painting or video games or whatever, streaming video games. You can always jump on here on that on Thursday nights and just hang out with me for a little bit and just have fun. So later on tonight, uh, I will also be on. We will be recording for Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. If you want to check me out on that, we talk about all things Star Wars, mostly bounty hunter related. We did a couple of Mandalorian episodes. We got into some Sith and Jedi. We have a very interesting topic for tonight. And of course, we're going to try to get that out for the first of the month. That's the plan. First of the month, every month. And which is Saturday this week. So we're going to record today, tomorrow to process. Monday, it should be out. Okay. So come back, listen, if I don't see you on Twitch, I'll see you on YouTube. And just remember, at Table Ready Gaming, we're here to get you and your models table ready. Thanks for watching.